hootenanny has alcohol. I'm surprised I've never seen anybody else say this, but you know the hootenanny, it's the event you can do in Westernland to call off the plays to the space to it. And, you know, a hootenanny, it's, to put simply, like another word for like a type of party. And yeah, you can already get some indications, especially since it sort of makes it look like the characters are drinking milk, quote unquote, which is already like an E-rated like version of alcohol. Gross, by the way. But not only that, another thing that I'm surprised I've never heard anybody point out is that after you do the hootenanny, the character you are will be like dizzy looking. Now maybe it's like, oh, they got dizzy because spinning around dancing, yeehaw, but there's never anything said about that. I always saw it as them being like drunk or wasted afterwards, so yeah. Debug menu ? DK. The debug menu in Mario Party 2 seems to be basically just fully carried over from Mario Party 1 code-wise, but it's just different that it has like the Mario Party 2 minigames and stuff to select. However, something that's funny about it is that it still has the infamous silhouetted ? DK. It was like this because most likely they were unsure if they had to get permission from Rareware at the time to use DK's design, and they weren't sure if they were going to get permission to. And yeah, it's just funny, because imagine if they said yes for 1, but then randomly no for 2. Day at the Race's odd indicators. Okay, so this is something that surprisingly I see a lot of people still not know about, being that they still think that this minigame is just completely random, there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. But that's not really the case. You see, at the start, when you're picking your player, I guess you can call it, they have different animations. Some are like neutral, however, some animations are more energetic or tired looking. The more energetic ones are like Womp hopping up and down faster, or Boo flashing faster, and Babomb with its fuse slits and running in place. However, the tired animations are like Boo kind of just looking slumped down and, you know, tired, and Babomb not having its fuse slit, and the others just generally kind of moving around much more slowly, if at all. And yeah, that's actually an indicator, with the energetic ones, of course, being more likely to win. Now, of course, there is still the random chance to it, being that if you choose an energetic one, you're not guaranteed to win. Like, just as a general example, something that has an 80% chance to win still has that 20% chance to lose, and the reverse can be said too. Mystery Land early icon. So in earlier versions of the game, the Mystery Land icon's difference that rather than this symbol, it was just a pair of footprints falling down settings pipe. This is a really fun and unique detail that just really captures the charm of Mario Party 2 that a lot of people probably don't see, being that once you're choosing your settings and stuff before starting a party, at the end, you know how Toad will be like, are these okay? And, you know, usually you just pick yes. However, you say no, an animation will play where the music starts like kind of like changing, and the pipe that you're running down, yes, it's like actually a pipe, is that it will turn 90 degrees, and the players will all fall down and scream, and then it'll reset back to how it's like when you first enter, and it's really funny. Shell-shocked extra hits. This is an unused feature in the game, being that Shell Shock, of course, normally has only 2 hits. Shell Shock, tread carefully, whichever you want to call it. But anyway, yes, there is an unused feature where you can give it even more hits, being 4 or 5, before they decide to just keep it at 2. I thought that the Baby Bowser boss had an extended hits, but no, I guess it only has 2 also. Minigame coaster and stadium logos. This is a really obscure logos in the game. You know how the boards normally have their own logos? Well, the minigame ones do too, but these went so unnoticed that it was believed to be cut content until just very recently, where it turns out that you can see these just by pressing pause during the modes, which most people usually don't do. Wolf species in Horrorland. This is a really obscure little thing that starts out the strange details that you can see on the boards themselves. Being that in Horrorland you can see wolves there, and you know they're around this river for what looks like blood at first, but I guess it's actually ketchup, which is a kind of funny and odd detail for a Mario game. And yeah, this is a totally unique wolf species. It's just interesting because it's the Mario world. You don't really see things like this, and you don't see anything like these guys again anywhere else in the series as far as I know. Graveyard. So speaking of odd things to put in Mario games or the Mario world, in Horrorland, there are graveyards. Yeah, that fits, but it's still kind of dark when you think about it. However, that's not it, because this refers to another thing that is much more obscure and much more odd and really unsettling, really. Being that in Western Land, I believe at the top of the map, there's also what definitely seems to be a graveyard there. Not only that, but the graves look like that they were freshly made. Yeah, isn't that kind of fucked up and weird? Especially considering the context and like historical comparison of Western Land, just thinking of like what they probably died of and what it must be like. It's yeah, really gritty, really gross, and just kind of when you see it. Well, that was the middle. Now we're gonna be delving into deeper waters.